Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this edition of the 6 p.m. primetime newscast on Équinoxe Television, live from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital, Douala. Human Rights Watch dismisses reports that it has removed its findings on the Ngarbu incident in Dongamantum division from its Facebook and WhatsApp, or rather Facebook page, and the platform on which it publishes, or its website. We'll be having details on that in this newscast, and we'll also be bringing to you updates on the incident in the Babanki in the Mezam Division Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon with our correspondent in the Northwest region, Bustela, in this newscast. We begin this newscast in the Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon, and we'll bring into you updates on the recent incident in the Babanki in the Mezam Division Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The top officials of the military in the Northwest region of the country have made a balance sheet of what happened in that incident and the number of persons who died, and of course ammunitions that were seized from separatist fighters, even though the version of the military and the government of the Republic of Cameroon as far as that incident is concerned is highly contested by other sources. Stella fires in details from Bamenda.
At about 1 a.m. breaking Saturday morning, soldiers on special command descend to Yoruba, a locality in Tuba subdivision, Mezam division of the Northwest region.
Before my going to the field, they killed one soldier, one civilian who were at the building site of the new headquarters of the 5th Joint Military Region. So they had to carry out a raid at one camp called Yoruba, around Bambili.
Many were asleep. The soldiers launched an offensive. Their presence in that locality met resistance. Gun battles with the separatist fighters went on for several hours.
They neutralized 10 of those Amazonians. Among them were Gerald Fire, also killed, and then they took den guns and AK rifles, and and also material used to make IEDs.
Returning from the attack at Yoruba, the soldiers are received by Brigadier General Cavalier, commander of the 5th Joint Military Region. Battles may have been won, but the war is yet to end. These soldiers have buried their colleagues. There has been over 3 years of protest in the Northwest and Southwest regions of Cameroon. The human and material damages are irreplaceable.
Bustela, Northwest correspondents reporting there, and are indicated in the headlines that Human Rights Watch has dismissed reports that it has removed its findings on the Ngarbu incident in the Dongamantum Division Northwest region of Cameroon from its Facebook page and website. The information has been dismissed as fake news by officials of Human Rights Watch, and of course state media reported that the report had been removed from the website and the Facebook page of Human Rights Watch. We shall be coming back to that in greater details in a short while. Time for us to take a reaction of the Minister of Communication and Government spokesperson Rene Emmanuel Sadi on recent incidents in the Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. He published another late night statement on the recent incidents and of course decrying manipulation and accusations against elements of the National Armed Forces. Manjikan Gabriel reports.
The government spokesperson Emmanuel Rene Sadi was once again forced to make a late-night press conference as the Anglophone crisis takes a different turn in the Northwest region with cases of death recorded. With the results of the Ngabu massacre investigation still awaited, over the weekend, another case of massacre was witnessed in Small Babanki, and the locals blamed the military for perpetrating the massacre. But according to government spokesperson, the allegations were false because it is an attempt of painting the military black. In his outing, Emmanuel Rene Sadi said armed separatists attacked a construction site of the 5th Combined Military Region at Mendankwe area in Bamenda. This attack led to the death of 2 persons, amongst them Private Second Class Manga Folefak and a civil technician from the shipyard industry, Chinda Nixon. 3 casualties were recorded in the site of the Defense Force. 5 civilians taken hostage by separatists with a military pickup burned and 1 M21 assault rifle taken away, alongside 3 filled magazine boxes and 1 bulletproof vest taken away by the armed separatists. In a return operation at Nka Public School on February 28 to 29, government spokesperson said in the course of the clash between the elements of the Cameroon Armed Forces and separatists led to the killing of 10 separatists, amongst them 3 women and their leader, Richard Mfomebang Dango, aka General Fireman. The military returned home with 1 AK-47, 5 tanks explosives, 1 offensive grenade, 3 12-gauge hunting weapons, and a hostage released. Notwithstanding the explanation given by government spokesperson, inhabitants of Babanki continue to say most of those who were killed were civilians.
In the report coming up next, we take a look at the preventive measures that have been put in place by the Ministry of Public Health against any possible presence of coronavirus in the Republic of Cameroon after a case was reported in neighboring Nigeria. It should, however, be noted that no case of coronavirus has so far been reported or confirmed in the Republic of Cameroon. Government has taken measures at the level of the airports, the Yaoundé, Simaleng, and the Douala International airports to check against the coronavirus.
Of the coronavirus, Public Health Minister was at the Nsimalen Airport to see for himself the readiness of Cameroon to tackle the airborne disease should it arrive the country. It was vital for us to see how those who are arriving in our country are being taken care of until we see a case of which we don't want it to happen. According to the Public Health Minister, the setup at the airport is up to date and is very reassuring. We are very assured about the ongoing screening system since they are 2 in number. As you get into the tunnel, 2 persons are on standby, and after that, another set is still waiting for a second screening. One of the major recommendations left at the airport is for the airport officials to ensure that there is no overcrowding in their facilities. From the airport, the Minister of Public Health was at the emergency center to evaluate their readiness to handle any case brought up to them. The Ministry of Public Health is working in collaboration with the World Health Organization in order to stop the virus from entering Cameroon. It should be recalled that the virus is already in neighboring Nigeria.
Now to the Nyon and Kele division, where inhabitants of Mesondo have barred the way for heavy-duty trucks entering their community. They decided that no truck is going to enter the subdivision after an accident that occurred on one of the bridges leading into that municipality, and they are complaining that the heavy-duty trucks have been contributing enormously to to get the road, to destroy the road, and of course that bridge, which is one of the main bridges on the road entering Mesondo in the Nyong and Kelly division. Immaculate Fogwe report.
A heavy-duty truck plying the Mesondo stretch of road in the Nyong and Kelly division, central region of Cameroon, now finds itself underneath a bridge. Locals have advanced reckless driving by the assistant driver as a root cause of the ghastly accident. The truck that you are seeing was stationed here by the driver and was later displaced by the assistant driver, who said he was going to take a bath in the river. While trying to cross the bridge, he lost control of his steering, leading to the accident. The bridge, which is almost in an advanced state of dilapidation, is a risky path for heavy-duty trucks. Locals of the area are decrying the overexploitation of their forest, which is accompanied by little or no community development. Those exploiting our forests care less of the population. That is why the villagers want to stop them from getting their truck. If this bridge is not fixed, they will not work here. We are very angry. Renowned for its natural riches found in its dense forest, Mesondo is still very underdeveloped. Challenges such as frequent electricity cuts, difficult access to potable water, and the poor state of their roads further aggravates its enclavement.
Pioneer city mayors in the Republic of Cameroon, some of them are already known in the nation's political capital, Yaoundé. Messi Atangana Luke is the pioneer city mayor of the country's capital, and he is in charge of special duties at the Prime Ministry, and he is also a member of the National Decentralization Board and a councillor in the Douala Yaoundé 3 Council in the town of Kumba in the Meme Division, Southwest region of Cameroon. Victor Nkelengo has been elected Pioneer City Mayor. He was the government delegate to the Kumba City Council, and he got 38 votes against 25 and 6 for his two challengers, or the other two candidates. Jean-Marie Dimbele is the Pioneer City Mayor of Betwa, and the election is still ongoing in the town of Douala. Latest information streaming in to our newsroom indicates that a fifth candidate has come into the play. Jean-Jacques Ekindi, national president of the Progressive Movement political party, who just declared his candidacy, and so there are now 5 candidates running the race in Douala, including 2 from the ruling Cameroon People's Democratic Movement (CPDM) political party, Mbassadine, and the mayor of the Douala 1 municipality, Lengue Malapa, and of course Ngwen Maud Isaac, and of course Jeremy Soler. And those are the candidates that are running for the post of city mayor of the town of Douala. Now we take this report on Human Rights Watch, which has said that information circulating indicating that it has removed the its findings on the Ngarbu incident from its Facebook page and website is simply fake news.
Following Human Rights Watch February 25, 2020 report on the Ngarbu massacre that pushed the government of Cameroon to go frontal, rumors developed on social and mainstream media across Cameroon that the right group has rushed to delete the report from its website and Facebook page. The report was removed with the evolution of events, especially with the polemics that erupted following the apprehension of an Amazonian militant, Mfo Yakubu, during his exploitation by the Defense and Security Forces. It was realized that he was in close contact with Madame Ilaria Ali-Grossi of Human Rights Watch. It shows that the non-governmental organization was no longer sure of its report. The fact that she was in contact with the person arrested places questions on the accuracy of Human Rights Watch's report.
La situation qu'elle a eu à examiner et ne semble plus tout à fait sûr que...
While few Cameroonians who were convinced by the rumors suggested that the right group realized errors in its report on Ngarbu, others said Human Rights Watch got intimidated to take down the reports from its official pages.
Tuesday, March 3, 2020. Human Rights Watch senior researcher Ilaria Aligrosi described such rumors as fake. On her social media wall, the rights researcher tagged one of the media reports that Human Rights Watch deleted the Ngarbu massacre report as fake.
We'll be talking about that in the second part of this newscast. In the meantime, we go out of the country to talk about the fate of children in South Sudan. Kill or be killed is the fate of many children in that country, and we're going to be taking you into the nightmare world of child soldiers in South Sudan who are being compelled to kill or be killed.
After more than 5 years of civil war and peace agreements signed in September 2018, South Sudan is struggling to recover. Nearly 4 million people are still refugees in neighboring countries or internally displaced. The trauma is deep, including among young people. Nearly 100,000 children and adolescents have been subject to grave violations. Among them are those who are called child soldiers. We're in Yambio, capital of the state of Western Equatoria in the south of the country. Every morning, dozens of teenagers gather at the Tindoka Vocational Training Center not far from the city. They are among some 3,600 children demobilized from armed forces or groups in South Sudan with the help of the United Nations. We need to protect their identity and change their names. Many, like 19-year-old Christian, were forcibly enrolled. Captured by an armed group at the age of 13, he lived in hell for 2 years.
We were sleeping just under the tree. To get a food like this, it was difficult. Unless you go and attack people, they tell you like this, you can do these bad things, you can slaughter someone. If you don't do, they will kill you. My brother, we were there with my brother, they killed him.
Anna was barely 13 when she was captured on her way to school. She's among those actually trained to fight. Her ordeal lasted over a year.
When we were there, we were beating people, torturing people, robbing people's property. When we were told to shoot people, we had to do it. If you said no, they would torture you or kill you. It was also hard for girls because the boys used us as wives.
Anna, now 16, is training in sewing alongside the other young girls in the center. Like many of them, she is the mother of a young child. Thanks to her training, Anna hopes to save money to pay for the future education of her little boy. And for her own, she dreams of becoming a doctor. Vocational training is only one part of a 3-year rehabilitation program for former child soldiers, co-funded by the European Union's Humanitarian Aid Service.
Addressing the needs of the children of South Sudan is one of our prime focuses. There are over 2 million children who have lost out on any form of education. What we're trying to focus is on the children because we don't want another lost generation, to give them some sort of basic education, to give them basic skills so they can participate in the reconstruction of their country.
Christian, like all participants in the program, has benefited from psychological and social support, precious help to overcome the traumas of war. So are the social workers who are there to support them throughout their journey and help them reintegrate into their community, a challenge in most cases. Christian was rejected by his father. He was taken in by the brother of his dead mother.
When he came back, he was wild. He couldn't understand anything, even me, his own uncle. I was afraid of him. Since he went to school, he learned many things and changed a lot. Now when he comes, he can greet people, he can smile. It's a big change.
Managed by UNICEF, the program has transformed the lives of hundreds of youths. a long-term job which could be compromised for lack of funds, and thousands of children are still in the hands of the armed forces and groups.
This program has been underfunded for over a year, and we've been using other resources to keep it going. So unless we have fresh funding coming in, we might need to close Tindoka, where we are now, but also the entire program. And with the potential peace being prolonged, we will see more children coming out of the woods, and they will need our help. But without funds, we can't help them properly.
Christian wants to become a plumber. He knows that his future and that of thousands of other war children will also depend on the sustainability of the still fragile peace process in South Sudan.
People are not many who are making concrete house because our place is full of war. But if peace should be, everything could be possible.
And we wrap up the first part of this newscast with an advertorial on Ntarikon Cooperative Credit Union Limited, one of the microfinance institutions in the Republic of Cameroon, stepping up community financial initiatives.
The Ntarikon Cooperative Credit Union Limited has come a long way.
We have ATM machines installed in most of these branches where you can do withdrawals even in the night. We have an opportunity whereby you can save money here, you withdraw it in other regions free of charge. Equally, we have reduced the charges on the loans, we have reduced interest on the loans so that many more members can borrow. And from this last AGM, we hear that we have paid interest of 5% to the members, and I think many more people will want to come and save money with us because we have budget to pay 6% this year, and we have already started paying.
Over the weekend, the credit union held her 33rd annual general meeting in Bamenda,
where we have this crisis that is affecting the Northwest and the Southwest. It's a general problem. We are praying that these two regions can return back to normal. But you see, the war is ongoing, and it's really difficult for us because business cannot be done in these areas as usual. Most of the investment here are only going down the train. Most of the loans we have given out here, the people cannot pay. Most of the clients are fleeing from the area. The businesses are suffering. Some of the members, maybe in Alat, Mankon here, the shops were burnt down because of the conflict. So we really have a lot of challenges in as much as the crisis in the Northwest and the Southwest are concerned.
Despite these shortcomings, the Ntarikon Cooperative Credit Union recorded a 10% increase in membership, up from the year 2018.
We have 60,000 members. These are members that are doing business with us, and in times of difficulties, the members keep doing business with us. We have branches all over the whole country. We have branches in Betwa, we have in Yaoundé, we have in Douala, we have in Kumba, we have in Boya, we have in the Bafoussam, we have in Bamenda, and we still plan to open more branches.
During the AGM, some members and branches were recognized for best services to the credit union and her members.
We had the prize of the best customer service, the prize of the best teller, and the prize of the best all-round staff. And our secretary is just customer care. We try to serve our members with joy, with happiness. Even though there's a lot of pressure in the office, but we try to make sure that we satisfy every member who comes into our office.
At the Ntarikon Cooperative Credit Union Limited, everyone is welcome in 2020.
We deal with a variety of products and services because we have designed products and services that suit all the classes of members. Be you a teacher, be you a banker, be you a journalist, be you an Okada rider, be you a buy and seller, you'll be able to plug any product or service that will suit your needs.
Going by her mission of improving the economy and social well-being of her members, the Ntarikon Cooperative Credit Union Limited encourages members to save regularly, borrow wisely, pay promptly, and become successful.
Talking Point is up next. Thanks for joining us in Talking Point. Our guest is a political analyst and negotiator. Taj Jarvis, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Babla Jonathan.
Reports going on or flying around like wildfire, saying that Human Rights Watch has removed the report that it published on the Ngabu incident from its Facebook page, from its website, and the senior researcher of that organization comes to say fake news. What's your take on this kind of information circulating?
Well, my take on this is that it's building a culture of distrust, especially at the time when we are aiming to have, confidence within the system. Is fast forwarding the aspect of the war prolonging from a social aspect of it, because remember that one of the elements in order for a conflict to have for a breakthrough to come in a conflict is when trust is at the center. But when you start giving fake news, especially from a state media, it raises question as to whether we are actually ready for peace to reign or we are foiling. For example, Babila Jonathan, I'll give you practical cases like what we had in Yugoslavia in the 90s, and of course what we had in Rwanda and what we had in South Sudan. The media played a very great role in order to mitigate and accelerate. When you bring in fake news, especially at the level of the state media, it now pushes the moderate to an extremist position, because the moderate who actually believe that yes, there is a problem and there is a peaceful way we can handle the problem, now tend to look at you as being one of those who don't want peace again at all, then now moving to the extremist position. And equally, it's confirming what we have been saying from the aspect of negotiation, that we will have a crisis of communication in Cameroon. And that crisis stemmed from not just the ministry, but right up to the state broadcast media. Example is what happened in Gabon. We had about 4 communiques. We had the first communique of the defense boss, who actually stated that there were 5 dead, and of course 1 woman and 4 children, which is quantified as collateral damage.
And before that, there was that of the head of the communication department of the defense ministry.
Yes, there was that of the head of the communication department, and there was Mincom that came and actually stressed on the fact that those things, the separatists committed the act, that the military was actually attacked. And you come now again, Mincom actually released another report from the Human Rights Watch debunking, and that happened the same day the head of state has ordered for an investigation to be carried out. And we have that of Jean Kwete, all stating that the government soldiers are innocent to this. What actually equally is confirming the aspect of communication crisis, when the head of state, commander-in-chief of the armed force, guarantor of the national sovereignty of the state, will ask for an investigation, then the minister of communication will come hours after and equally debunk and if I give a report of the investigation. Because what the Minister of Communication actually did can be seen as a report of an investigation which has not yet been carried out. And shockingly, we read on the banner headline of the Guardian Post newspaper publication, which actually states that 9 military officials have been arrested in connection to the Ngabu incident. It takes us back to the issue of distrust. First 4 communiques state that the military was actually professional, no harm done from the side of the military defending the territorial integrity of the state. From somebody who say, okay, let me believe in this communique of the ministry, and now later on you come and tell the same person that we have arrested 9 in connection of this crisis. Then you come and say the Human Rights Watch actually did a fake report. Then you say the Human Rights Watch actually have deleted. I googled the Human Rights Watch when I was following your news, www.hrw.org, for those who want to bother to check. When you go to www.hrw.org, you Google it and you still
find the report on the website.
On the website, it is still there as we speak. To say a professor of that magnitude, it therefore tells us that our educational system needs an overhaul. We have a kind of educational system tell us taking the country down than building the country. And a professor, Dr. Ona, of that level should say those lies. I call it lies because I have googled it, a fact check on the Human Rights website. I was quite taken aback when he said that. I said, but how can the human rights of that organization actually take that a report which they claim they have done findings? I went on www.humanrightswatch.org. You will see the report there as we speak.
But what can possibly motivate such news to be made public at this point in time when there is a general outcry that the truth should be spoken? People are saying here and there, the truth should be spoken because only the truth will set us free, says the Bible.
Again, I want to tell you that we are in a conflict, and there's what we call the conflict of propaganda and the conflict of truth. Usually, Babila Jonathan, we all as Cameroonians should look for ways to communicate in such a way that this conflict can be mitigated and aggravated. But when we see that motive, it takes us back to the original intent of assimilating, or that intent of disbelief. One of the reasons why conflict escalates is when we come with rumors and we don't stand on acceptability. Denial is very dangerous. First, to say that has not been done, and later on it's proven that it was done. It's a crisis. Now there is something that we don't see here, that we are talking about dialogue, Babila Jonathan. We are talking about effective negotiation. But when we act like that, you are giving the opposite side full, firm evidence to show that you cannot be trusted. You cannot be trusted, because if you say that, okay, there was the report has been taken off and broadcast on the state media, and what do you expect of a taxpayer like me? What do you expect of a viewer at home who actually go to do fact-checking and realizes that what you said is wrong? We have laws governing fact-checking in Cameroon, and we have laws on fake news. And I think that it is time for the National Communication Council to actually take this seriously, because those who are doing that don't love Cameroon. All those actually misinforming Cameroonians of the reality on the ground, they don't love Cameroon. Because
and another incident where contradictory facts have been made public, with the official version, the military version, being contested by other sources, is the incident that occurred recently after the Ngabu incident in Small Babanki in the Mezam Division, Northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. Many are saying that, other sources are saying that it wasn't an operation to track down separatists as indicated by the military.
Babila Jonathan, the issue here is that we've had a system of disbelief. Take us back to what happened in the north of Cameroon, when the Minister of Communication then, Issa Chiroma Bakari, stated that those who committed the act, it was in Mali, it was not in Cameroon. He called a press conference with the military attaché behind him, and of course we watched the video, watched the live news. After a while, international organizations, same Human Rights Watch and some organizations said no, it happened in Cameroon. The same thing we did. Then after a while we were told, when satellite images came in and evidence came in, and we were told that, okay, yeah, they are Cameroonians and we have to be investigated, they have been arrested, they have been court-martialed. The same thing happened in Gabu, where we have 5 communiques went out stating that this, that, no, the military is professional. We are not saying that the military has not been professional in some cases. In some cases, Babila Jonathan, the military has been extremely professional. In other cases, they have not. Same with the armed separatists. Some cases, they have been extremely professional. Other cases, they have not been extremely professional. None of the tools I have sent. But to say that the Ngabu incident, the Babanki incident, was actually, an act where people just, the military was out there to look at separatists, to get the separatists. I think we are grossly exaggerating the fact, because you watch the video, there's a 7-year-old. The minister communique stated that they neutralized Amber fighters at Babanki. But Babila Jonathan, you watch the images, the pictures are there online, the videos are there online. A 7-year-old with the component of his stomach out. What is that child? A separatist. The mother, a breastfeeding mother, with a child beside, crying, that child crying. The mother was killed. I think that those who love Cameroon will actually fight for the objectivity of Cameroon. I think the president has to realize that it's time those who are actually giving him the information want him to go prematurely than protecting him, because all this information play negatively on the head of state. It doesn't favor the government in any way. If they think that they are doing that to favor the government, maybe they may be doing that ignorantly. I think there is a need for the state to set up a communication system where it's manned by experts who understand conflict, such that information doesn't just go out. When an incident happens, you don't just go out and sign a communique. It must pass through the central desk before they say, okay, let's say this or not. Because in the next, don't be surprised, there will be another investigation on Babanki. There will be, and you will hear that some men and women were arrested, contrary to what the communique actually stated. So my advice there is that when incident happen like this, the state has the right to give its version, but however, the state should do that from a professional standpoint and state that not to stop the Minister of Communication to say, we are concerned with what happened in Babanki. We are on the ground, and to see how the information will be brought out to the public, clean and clear. At the end of the day, when the investigation, you say, okay, this is what was done. But you don't just go and debunk from an emotional perspective, thinking you are protecting the state. You are not protecting the state.
Beyond the conflict of figures and facts between official sources and other sources on the ground, human rights organizations, non-governmental organizations, the population themselves, the big question that runs across the board is, should the killings continue? No matter whether we are going after separatists, we are going after this or that, should the killings continue?
The killings should not continue. What happened in Babanki, I blame that on the church. And what happened in Ngabo, I blame that on the church. What will happen in any other village, I blame that on the church. What happened to a military man that may be killed in the days ahead, I blame that on the church. What happened to the separatists, I blame that on the church. Look at what happened.
Why the church?
Let me give you why the church. In an emotionally charged conflict like this, where we have the separatists are mad on the one end, the government is mad on the other end, the only sane person is the church. The church has the ability to call them to order. Look at Nigeria. Bishops in Nigeria yesterday, 2 days ago, protested against incessant killings and kidnappings in Nigeria. They said enough is enough. People are dying. People are being kidnapped in Abuja.
But the bishops have been very vocal on this
There is a difference between vocality and actual fact. Faith without work is dead. Look at what happened.
Are you saying that the bishops should take to the streets?
I'm not saying that the pastors and bishops should take to the street. What I'm saying is that the pastors, the bishop, and men of God can come and form a coalition and tell the government and the non-state armed group that enough is enough. We are giving you an ultimatum to this day and this day to sit and see how you can solve it. Men are dying. Men in uniform has families. Men without uniform has families. The women has families. It's not just sit to pray. This conflict did not just start from arms. It started from a structural conflict in 1990 when we had the separatist the SCNC was existing. From that time, was still at the level of structural conflict. It went to direct violence when we had 2018. So let's not just say, no, it just started. It started since, with people changing their mentality with frustration and the rest. The church as a person, the church as a group has to come together. The bishop who will arrest Cardinal Tumi, who will arrest the Archbishop Kea, who will arrest the moderator, Right Reverend Funky, who will arrest that of CBC or the rest. If they come together and form an alliance, a peaceful alliance as a task force of Kawala, and say no to killing, regardless of the party, our women, our children, our family, they are dying. It's time for this.
No, those who are fighting for the restoration of the former Southern Cameroons are considered as enemies of the state. But should they be killed or arrested and brought to book?
Geneva Convention.
We have heard nothing about war prisoners.
No, there is war prisoners. Geneva Convention gives provisions for that. If you go to Article 113 of Geneva Convention, which equally talked about the mutilation of dead body, which is a crime against humanity. Normally, by the Geneva Convention, it should be Article 47. It says that when you go into an area where you have a hostile, and you see that hostile doesn't have arms, at that moment, that hostile becomes a civilian. You arrest that hostile as a war prisoner. You have no right to kill someone who surrenders. If someone surrenders and you kill that person, it's a crime against humanity. Now, there's what we don't understand. People say, no, they will be judged. They will be judged because look at Yugoslavia. We have international tribunal for the Yugoslavia. We have international tribunal for Rwanda. We have international tribunal that equally went in place of Syria alone. And we have international tribunal that will be built up for Cameroon. And after the Syrian crisis, we have international tribunal. These are tribunals created to cater for specific challenges of crisis in the war-torn area. It's the same thing. Those who are supporting the separatists should understand that those ringleaders too have to account for. Because when you watch their video, they say, kill this, kill that, do that, do that. They too are committing crimes against humanity. They too need to take war prisoners. If you are fighting a war, you don't just kill. Like what happened in Babanki, which we had earlier seen a video of a beheaded military, and it tells you that it was a reprisal attack. These guys too on the non-state armed group should avoid what we call fighting in plain sight, because that's what is killing the civilians. When you come to a community and you do your act and you mingle with the community and you go, the military is therefore compelled to do what we call collective punishment, because at that time they cannot distinguish a hostile from a non-hostile. However, in doing that, we say that they should equally be professional in doing that. But when you do collective punishment, there is a repercussion that civilians, there is bound to be collateral damage. Collateral damage is a military word. Whenever you hear collateral damage, it's not a civilian word, it's a military word. Meaning that you identify that there is a terrorist in Mashe Mbopi, and that terrorist killing 5 people or 50 people who kill that terrorist, you go ahead with that. We call that collateral damage.
All right. Above all of that, no one is authorized to kill the separatists, to kill soldiers, to kill civilians.
No one is authorized to kill by universal norm. The Bible says no man has a right to take other man's life, regardless of the crisis. We are at this stage that we are because of the issue of trust. It's just trust that is killing Cameroon. That is deviating this crisis. The moment that trust is rebuilt, the moment where we see that trust is gained, people will start talking to each other. The first stage is we are not talking because we must agree. The first day you disagree, the next day you fight, the next day you insult, the next day you threaten to pull out, the other day you even pull out. The final day you come say, let me listen, and gradually you be an alliance, and that's how you see that, okay, gradually you can talk. You start with where you agree first. Okay, we agree that civilians are being killed, we agree that people are suffering. Then before you move now to area where you disagree, which is on your position. I prefer this, I prefer that. Without that, no one has a right to take the life of a person, regardless of the cause you are. The moment you take that life, you are killing the nation, you are killing the world, because all those killed in Gabu, maybe the United Secretary General in 2035 would have come back from Gabu. The same thing, maybe the president of this state would have come back from Babanki.
Can negotiation between the government and separatist fighters put an end to this matter?
Definitely, yes, it can put an end to this matter, but not abruptly. This crisis is in stages. It will put an end to the armed conflict. But there is a social crisis which will still need to be built, and negotiation can do the magic. But the issue is, how do you negotiate where you have that breach of trust? My advice to the government is that struggle to reduce the weight of communication. Those who are communicating should be communicating well, and there should be a central team that coordinate communication. You don't just issue communicate. Stop issuing communique now. The same thing with separatists. Don't say your people to attack and in a civilian environment. They should attack in an area where there's no civilian, where there are no civilians there, because there is what we call reprisal attack. Leave the people out of it. Go to your target. Military, leave the quarters. Go to your target, so that the civilians are spared, the women are safe.
Jarvis, political analyst and negotiator, thanks for coming.
Thank you very much, Babylon.
Thanks, dear viewers, for staying with us. That's it for today.